Welcome back to a Criminally Basic podcast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Megan.
So we have some exciting news. We have a YouTube channel now with all of our episodes on it.
Woohoo!
It can be found on YouTube at a Criminally Basic podcast. Please go subscribe to that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to move to a new platform.
Yeah. Also, I would like to apologize in advance because this episode takes place in Sweden. I'm bad at pronouncing things. So, this is going to be a time, my dudes. Are you ready, Megan?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
So, this case takes place in Lofthammer, Sweden in September 2008.
Okay, so not that long ago.
No, not that long. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but it's like, how many years?
2008?
Yeah.
13?
12?
12?
13?
Hold on. Wait, it's 2021, 2008. 13 years, yeah.
13. Math. Okay.
I keep thinking it's 2020.
Same. I mean, 2020's never ended, let's be real.
No. I mean, time is a construct, so.
I think we're in a parallel universe because everything feels off.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah. Agneta? It's Agneta. Agneta Westlund went for an evening stroll with her family dog, who was this like cute little guy. I forgot to put the exact breed, but it's a super tiny dog.
Okay.
She hadn't come back, so her husband was like, oh, probably just like an extra long stroll, whatever. Well, after a while, she hadn't came back. So her husband, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm so sorry, Igmar. It's Ingemar.
Ingmar? I don't know.
For the rest of this episode, I'm going to call it her husband.
Okay.
Because I don't want to butcher the names anymore. So he went looking for her. Well, when he went searching, he unfortunately found his wife dead.
Oh no.
It was a gruesome thing. She had basically been mauled. When the police got there, they had said she didn't even look human. She looked like a piece of meat.
Ah.
Yeah, sorry, trigger warning. That was a little graphic.
What? How? Okay, so are they in like a suburban area or are they in a more rural area?
The way I read it was a more rural. I mean, there was neighbors there, but it was more rural in the forest type area.
Okay, so it's possible that that something horrible has clearly happened to her and nobody was around to see it or hear it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, goodness.
So when the police got there, as police do, they automatically assumed it was the husband because there was no witnesses. And the first person that called about it was the husband. So they're like, well, maybe.
Right. I mean, it makes sense to start with the people who are closest.
Yeah.
Was there anything specific that made them kind of look at him first? Or was it more, he's the one who found her, he's the closest to her, start with him and then go from there?
It was a little bit of both, but I'm going to get more into it right now. The forensic doctor who examined Agneta believed that the violence she had been subject to could correspond to a rotary knife of a lawnmower. Her husband had been mowing the lawn that day, so they were like, maybe. Also, what didn't help actually helped the prosecutor's main theory was they found blood on the lawnmower.
Okay, here's my question.
Yes.
About that. So her wounds were gashes, clearly,
yes.
if they think that it could have been a lawnmower that killed her. Horrible way to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my goodness, that sounds awful. But how far away from her home was she?
From what it was like a couple miles. It wasn't very far at all.
Okay. She'd walked a couple miles with a small dog?
I don't remember the exact thing, but it was like a mile or two. It was just like an evening stroll.
Okay. So, and based on the scene, it had looked like she had been killed there.
Yes.
Okay. So if he was mowing his lawn, he would have had to walk his lawnmower, drive his lawnmower.
It was a driver, whatever those are called.
Oh, one of those fancy ones that
The
you ride
yeah,
on
yeah,
instead of push. Ooh.
yeah.
Um, but so he would have had to follow her, chase her,
Hmm.
and then mow her down, quite literally, and then go back. I don't know. To me, that theory kind of almost doesn't seem plausible just because they're of all murder weapons, I don't think I would choose a lawnmower. But if you're going to choose a lawnmower, I don't think it would be that far away from your home.
Yeah.
Does what I'm saying make
No,
sense?
no, that makes sense. Like, yes, like I've known of lawnmower deaths happening,
Yeah,
like, but not like them driving a mile or so, however long it was, to do that.
right.
Well, they did find saliva and hair on Agneta's clothes,
Okay.
but with them finding blood on the lawnmower and stuff, they put her husband in jail for 10 days until they got DNA evidence back from all of that.
So I'm not quite sure how the justice system works over yonder.
Yeah.
You said this was in Sweden?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure exactly how the justice system works over in Sweden in 2008.
Yeah.
But that, at least if this were happening in the United States and he spent 10 days in jail, that would mean that they would have had to arrest him
They
on something.
yes.
Because, at least the way that the justice system works in America, you can't arrest someone unless they've committed a crime.
Yeah. Well,
And it doesn't sound like they have. Oh, well, I guess maybe they do have enough proof to detain him since there is blood
the lawnmower, yeah.
on the lawnmower. Oh, okay.
Well,
Never mind then.
the thing is, when they got the DNA back of the saliva and all the hair and stuff, it wasn't from a human. It was from a moose or, as they like, a European elk.
You're oh.
Yes. And that
Oh
blood that
no.
was on the lawnmower was from an animal that he had ran over.
Okay, that makes sense. What happened to the dog? Is the dog okay?
The dog is okay. It's like back at home. I don't know like if it's still alive now because this couple was a lot older when this happened.
Yeah, but the dog survived.
The dog survived.
Okay. So it was a moose?
It was a moose. So apparently in Sweden during a certain time of year, moose will climb up and eat these apples that have been fermented. And when the
Uh-huh.
moose eat these apples, they become drunk mooses.
Ah, that's a funny thought, but if you know how big mooses are,
They're huge.
that's a terrifying thought.
Yes. If you're like far away and not near them, a drunk moose sounds hilarious.
Right, but if you're in its way, I mean, what was the reason? Because I mean, I'm not an expert on moose behavior,
I am not
especially
either.
drunk moose behavior, but I would have to imagine that there was some sort of reason that this moose went after her.
Well, what they believe is they think the dog had startled the moose
Mm,
and he just kind of thought it was a predator or something.
and charged.
Yes.
Mm.
So that's what they believe. Even though there's like a lot of doctors that just let me read this quote. Although a Swedish radio Science News asked about a dozen researchers, and many said that a 200 to 550 kilogram. Hold on, let's Google that in pounds because I don't know what that is. A 200 kilogram is 440 pounds,
Okay.
and 550 is 1,212 pounds.
Mm.
So huge creatures.
Yeah.
These animals are simply too large to get drunk on the amount of fermented apples that they've reported to eat. But though thousands of people disagree with this like research and evidence because they've seen a bunch of drunk mooses.
Right. And I mean, I would have to imagine that even, whether or not the moose is inebriated.
Yeah.
um, I I don't quite know, again, the behavior of a moose, but if they're startled enough, drunk or not, they're going to charge.
Yeah.
So,
And
I mean, you could have had a completely sober moose on your hands and still had the same result.
yes, absolutely. Police spokesperson Ulif Carlson says the improbable has become probable. Though some people in the town still believe her husband was the one that killed her, and they don't believe a moose could actually have killed her.
Why do they think that her husband did it? Just because of circumstance?
Yeah. And also, how do I say this without sounding rude? It sounds really crazy being like, a moose did it. A moose killed her.
I mean, moose are kind of violent animals.
I mean, true, they are.
I mean, they're big. Those things are big.
They're big, and like little is like 400 pounds.
Right. And they're territorial as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, especially if moose were in that area at the time.
Yeah, they were.
And not to mention the hair and the saliva and everything that they found.
Yeah. And like her husband was like so heartbroken that he was the one accused of this.
Well,
because they had been married like, they were in their 60s, like for at least 20, 30 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they had been married forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a very tragic, also very short case of Agneta Westlund.
So wait, what happened to her husband? I'm assuming that he was released.
He was released. He was released. He was cleared, even though town was cleared of, or he wasn't cleared by the People's Court. Is that what they call it?
The Court of Public Opinion?
Yes.
There you go.
Some people he was not cleared by, but he was cleared legally by the law.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So legally by the law, he was cleared, but Court of Public Opinion is still
Yeah.
But yes, this was a very short episode. The thing is, there wasn't much articles covering it. And the ones I could find, I had to translate from Sweden, but even then, there wasn't that many articles covering it. And I feel like a bad researcher for this, but they're just...
I mean, this seems pretty open and shut.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what's a trusted source in Sweden or not.
That's fair.
Because I could have been on a site that could have been like our... oh my God, what's that terrible publication?
TMZ?
Not TMZ, but...
Hollywood.com?
Also that, but that has the like trashy magazines in the grocery store.
I don't know. I can't say I've ever purchased a trashy magazine from the store, so...
No, but I always see them. It's
Yeah.
It has all the crazy...
I know what you're talking about. Just a tabloid.
I don't know if it's like one of those sites or not, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes Google is not trustworthy. And I hate that, but I love my Google.
Yeah, as someone who works with Google stuff on a daily basis, there's a lot of factors that go into what pops up with your search results. So
yeah, you have told me that, and I don't know if I'm doing the wrong thing or the right thing to get the search results or what.
I mean, really, it's just all about having a few trusted sources and going to them first.
Yeah, but yeah, this one was when my research was still kind of sucky. It has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to A Criminally Basic Podcast. If you want to find more, find us at A Criminally Basic Podcast on Instagram and Twitter and now YouTube.
Yes. And if you'd like to see our sources as well as photos, check out our website, www.acriminallybasicpodcast.podbean.com.